This is Entertainment Roundup for Friday, April the 19th, 2013. I'm J77, and I'm just going to be focusing on just one topic for this occasion, one topic that needs some attention. It is something that has had a huge backlash on one particular person. It also raises questions of fan loyalty as well as what many people consider as e-begging versus donations, as well as the programs and partnership programs that sites and other organization has, which can get out of hand if people are not wise to the pros and the cons, as well as what is was supposed to be used for, as well as people trying to use it for stuff that is not really important. I'm referring to the incident involving Soren OP, Angel Hamilton, and the situation which got him banned from Twitch. Now, just to make a long story short, there was a gamer who did gaming streams on a Twitch video sharing site. He was one of the most popular, from what I understand, and needed to say, he has done something that angered a lot of people, including those who are on disability or has a physical disability where the point where they can't walk, even talking for that matter. He pretty much lied that he was paralyzed, confined to a wheelchair, and this lie seemed to have been going on for some time. From what I understand, from what I have read, and I'm saying this now because I'm not a fan of his. I recently found out about him through other people who basically made videos about this situation. Let's Do This, aka Spill.com, has done a podcast dedicated to this topic, have talked about it, pretty much poked fun about it, but also has expressed how serious this is and how much of an idiot this guy was. We also have people who wasn't a fan from to begin with, was very suspicious about him to begin with, basically posting a stream revealing the truth about this guy. And yes, there's a lot of videos out there that shows just how much of a con artist he is. Needless to say, according to some video game blogs, as well as some articles relating to this topic, that he has conned people, and I'm using the word con in a very heavy state, con people into getting into $20,000. This con including a wheelchair, and even paying to go on a to move into a different location to be close to his girlfriend. The list can go on and on, but basically the estimate amount that he has gotten was close to 20K. And all this because people thought he was paralyzed. He thought that he wasn't getting anything for, in terms of physical therapy. He wasn't getting any assistance. And this is the kind of stuff that has happened. People felt sorry for him. People were fans of his, and they pretty much gladly donated to him. Well, about pretty much a few weeks ago, all that came crashing ahead. I've seen the video, and what I can tell you is that he rolled into the view of his webcam, doing what he normally does best, video streaming, and he basically moved away. He said he'd be right back, and not realizing his camera was still on, got up and just walked out of view. His girlfriend knew about it because her reaction was just pretty much as typical as anyone's reaction, saying, "Oh my God, the jig is up." She tried to play it off, talk about some taking the dog to the fish store, which was an all-out lie, and anybody who was watching this could tell it was a lie. Eventually, he realized the mistake he had because he knocked the webcam to the point where it only showed the keyboard and his headphones, but the damage had already been done, and this alone caused a huge backlash, a humongous backlash, not only on Twitch but on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, any social networking, any blog site that you guys name it, it was being talked about. It made some of the news as well. Needless to say, Twitch had immediately responded. They suspended his account. He is officially been banned from Twitch. Whether or not this is a permanent thing or not, that is remains to be seen. But from what I've read from CVC. That's a video game blog. Twitch pretty much reacted towards the fraudulent behavior that this guy's had, and even offered to refund some of the money, some of the donation that this guy swindled everybody into, which is also a good thing, because let's be honest, this is there just as much as victim as anybody else. And if any time when a strict policy should be enforced, this is the time, man. So I have no beef for what Twitch is doing. In fact, if they choose to ban him for life, which they already, by the way, terminated his contract, his partnership contract, if they choose to ban him for life, that will be a positive, a plus. Send a message that you can't tolerate this. But this goes far beyond what he has done, because what he has done was sad, despicable, and something that many people have every right to be angry, because he not only conned people out of thousands of dollars, but how he did it, he pretended to be physically disabled, and that is just disgusting by its own right, because there are people out there who are disabled, who are struggling, and is constantly fighting to get benefits so they just can live, and just so they can do physical therapy. And here this guy using his fans as a sympathy ploy to gain more revenue. It's just it just rolls my eyes and just makes me scratch my head, and how there are people out there who will do this and willing to go this far to deceive people. Of course, he's not the first person who have done this. I've seen news reports, trials on this. There was a woman who actually appeared on Oprah Winfrey, stating that her daughter had some kind of cancer, when the reality is it was all a fake. She actually brainwashed her daughter, believing she had cancer. All it really was her doing this just to get money and vacation. The first thing that comes in your head is, how can someone do something like this? But there are people out there who are thinking only about themselves. They don't care about the emotional impact they have on the victims, or their own family, or even the community as a whole. And I say this with great enforcement, that what this guy did, even though he was just one guy who got out of many who got caught, what he did is going to put a strain on everyone who uses the Kickstarters, the AdSense account, the PayPals, any kind of donation money, any kind of fundraising program to fund their projects. This is going to have a very serious effect on them, because people are going to look at them and say, well, this guy did it. Why should I trust this guy to do what he said he's going to do? And this is something that I don't think people have to take into account when opening up a Kickstarter for whatever project they want to do. Hopefully this won't deter certain people for donating, because like I said, there are some good people out there who are doing good things with their Kickstarters, with their donation money, with PayPal and AdSense. Like I said, some of these AdSense and donation button is pretty much is to support either the site they have built, or to support future projects so they can continue to make more contacts. If the funds ain't coming there, the possibility the site will either will dwindle in terms of contact, or just basically fail to exist altogether. And that is something that people need to be very mindful of, especially when they're saying they're making a project. You always want to keep the people who are donating money updated. Give them information on how the project's going. Don't just take the money and then disappear and never talk about it again, which a lot of people tend to do, for better and for worse. Also, and I'm going to say this right now, and I know a lot of people are going to say it's kind of like a low blow, but as those who are fans of this, the warning signs were there. I'm just going to say the warning signs were there. When I read on the articles and I read on what this guy was doing and how he was presenting it, it was clear that the warning signs were there. And a lot of people who donate to this guy were blind to his so-called popularity. And this is something I've been noticing a lot more, especially with those who are super popular, those you know by name, even if you haven't seen their channels, you know them by name because people talked about them. Um, Fans, no matter who they are, need to be mindful of one major thing. You don't know these people. You don't know who they are. You don't know how they are, how they act behind the camera. Anytime you see us, including myself, we're doing a video, but that's pretty much it. Once I click off that thing, that's it. You don't know me from the hole in the wall. You don't know the situation I'm going through, the personal problems that I'm going through. The same can apply for any of these guys who's making videos. On screen, they make good content. You like their content. You like listening to them. You like coming back for more. But don't confuse you that for actually believing that you actually know them from heart, that they're your best friends. Most of the guys don't even know who you are. Most of the guys don't even care that you even exist or acknowledge the fact that you are a fan and actually watch it. Hell, there's some actually do even admit that they don't even even care. If you go, there's always going to be one that's going to follow after that. So be mindful that just because they do great things with their video contacts, write great blogs, doesn't really mean they're good people. And this is pretty much evidence of that. Too many times we tend to follow someone blindly or defend someone blindly without actually stopping and thinking about what this guy's major malfunction is. And to me, from just by listening to what he was doing, just by seeing some of the stuff he has done in the past, either by the videos, it was very clear that something was not right, and that people who were donating to him should have at least asked questions about where this money's going, how come you can't get any help from other sources. And to be fair, you can easily tell just by those questions, those simple questions, just where their heart truly lies. Especially if they take too long to answer a question that should be so simple and should be easy to respond, just like that, just in 3 seconds. But apparently that did not happen, and sadly we had this result. And I hope, for the fans' sake, that they get their money back. I hope they do pursue this, because this is something that no one should deserve to have. That we've seen too many scams already, too many things already, and I hope that for the most part that Twitch do keep their word and refund these guys money that has been scammed. But we don't know how far back these people. It could be thousands of them. We don't know if Twitch can get to all of them. Hopefully they can come forward and explain how much they have given and go from there. Now, for the big question, now that this has been revealed, now that Twitch took actions, and now the fact that this guy is going in hiding, because from what I've seen from other reports, he has closed down his Facebook account. He's not responding to Twitter, nor on his YouTube account. He's been disabling comments, and pretty much understandably so, because let's be honest, what can you say to the people you have deceived? What are you going to say to them? There's really nothing to say. You lied to them. They don't want to hear that you've been set up. You pretty much, if anything, you basically turn your own self into that situation. You basically told on yourself when you basically forgot to turn on your camera and just walked away, and then try to pretend that you fell off the chair when it's clearly the chair is still standing there and you're just walking away. You would have been on the floor. We would have easily seen that. But basically he's not responding. He's pretty much in hiding, and expect him to be there for a little while longer. The question still lies is there going to be federal charges brought up on him? As much as I want him to be charged with fraud, as much as I think he needs to be charged with fraud, I'm not too sure he can be charged with fraud. And I explained this, and I'm bringing up stuff. I talked to my friend about this, and I brought up stuff about past cases similar to this. One in particular is the Reverend, who you probably guys heard of, predicted the world's going to end. How many times now? 9 times before finally retiring into the sunset, not saying another word. This guy was a con. It was well-known con. It was well-known fraud, and he said the world's going to end at this date and this date. But yet, for a reason I don't know, people still was giving him money. People still was donating to them. There were people who was giving their life savings to this guy, believing that the world was going to end, not thinking one time that if the world is going to end, what does he need all this money for? The world's going to be over. He can't take it with him. But people still donated, and when the world didn't end, not once but twice, it was clear. Finally, it came to them saying we were duped. We was conned. He basically said he wasn't making any more predictions, and he basically was just resting, and that was it. Nobody heard from him again. Now, you would think that a guy who have pretty much said the world was going to end and accepted all these donations, he should be liable to get to be charged with fraud, because a lot of people did lost their life savings, lost everything, and nothing happened. There was even reports, and I think Spill.com even made fun of this. The guy went to New York one last time thinking the world was going to end at that particular day, and it didn't happen. He was like, what happened? You got duped. That's what happened. Now, there's no question. The truth is, no matter what you guys believe in, no one knows for sure when the world's going to end. We just live one day at a time. It could end today. It could end a week from now, 3 years from now, 1,000 years from now. No one knows. So people who make those predictions, I don't never take seriously, because they don't know. They're just predicting. They're just guessing. And that's what they are. They're just basically guessing. That's it. But apparently people just want him to be pressed charges, and the government said they can't for lots of reasons. One, he's a church, and two, no one forced anyone to donate. And the key word here is donate money to them. He never put a gun in his head. He didn't actually say it's imperative that you donate to this now. It's not one thing that he was buying into a situation, selling a product, only the product to be defaulty or never worked it to begin with. People donated their money. They willingly forfeit portion of their money, and because of that reason, they couldn't prosecute him. This can fall in the same category as this guy Hamilton is. Donations means what it is. You donated something to this guy. He didn't force your hand. That's the thing. He didn't force your hand. He may have deceived you into thinking he was in a wheelchair and he said all this kind of stuff, which to me, there's still enough evidence to go after him. But all he had to say is, and go to court, if the judge, if you ever do go to court, say, well, I never forced them to give me money. They did it out of their own free will. That may have a lot of staying power than what people believe, because when you donate something, you're willingly giving up something. You're not, that's what it is. Well, the same thing goes with any other thing. If I donate like some clothes to the Salvation Army, they didn't force me to donate the clothes to the Salvation Army. Yeah, they're going to make money out of that. Yeah, they're going to get 100% profit. But you know what? I choose to give that product to them. What they do with that product is simply their discretion. And the same thing actually can fall to this guy if he chooses to use that defense. Now, hopefully, because they're on video confirmation, the prosecution actually can upset that, saying, hey, they would not donate so much money had he not lied, say he was on a wheelchair, has he not lied and said he was going to use the money for a trip and everything else. He deceived people he deceived people by the disability, and because of that, he deceived them in terms of asking for donations. So it can go both ways, but I'm saying this, it's going to be very hard for a prosecutor, a federal prosecutor, to prosecute, especially under that term of what he did was actually fraudulent, if people willingly gave him his money. That's the pros and cons. It doesn't mean that he cannot get sued. And I'm pretty sure if Twitch is doing what I think they're doing in terms of giving people their money back who donate to their channel, they can come after him, because now they cost them money. So you think they're gonna just basically say, we're gonna scratch the whole thing? No, they're gonna come after him, and they're gonna probably sue him along with anybody else who felt that who was involved in this, who unwillingly did not know this was going down. So that can actually happen as well. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration. He can still get sued. Twitch can still take him to court, because not only did he violate the term and conditions of his contract, but now there's money that they have to give back to his victims, and they're not going to just wash their hands of the whole thing. They might go after him to pretty much get the money from him, because he did, no question about it. He did create a fraudulent act, and they can easily say, "Hey, look, man, we wouldn't have to pay. We had to shell out this money had he not lied. You owe us." So there's a whole lot of stuff going on there. There's a whole lot of things that's possibility. I'm throwing everything out there that's the possibility. But one thing is certain: he has been terminated, and a lot of people are talking about it. My final thoughts on this. I'll say this, okay? I can get angry, I can get mad. I'm not gonna do all that stuff. I'm not gonna call a rant. I think a lot of people who did videos already about this already ranted, already expressed their anger towards this guy, saying he's a scumbag. How could he? There's a whole lot of people there who actually find this hilarious. I find this as a lesson learned. Again, I can't stress this enough. I do not. I like certain video producers. I like certain reviewers. I like certain gamers. I enjoy their content. I subscribe to their content. I always constantly pay attention to what's going on with Matic Expression in terms of my fellow reviewers, gamers, movie reviewers alike, bloggers, and podcasters. I pay attention to what they're doing because I like their content. But I will never, I always have to keep myself mindful of the fact is that even though there are reviewers and video makers and gamers, I may like their content, but I don't know the person as a whole. And therefore going crazy and, as a fanboy would normally do, doing crazy things to other people's side because they don't agree with my taste on what I like and what I don't like, it's just basically a waste of my time. And sometimes it can come to a point where it blinds you on what you're actually really doing. In short, when it comes to these kind of things, especially when someone's asking for money for something, you always want to ask the one major question: what do they need this money for? And do I believe in the cause they are doing? And what benefit would I have if I was to donate my hard-earned cash to this particular project? And if you're happy with this, if you are satisfied with this, then you know what? God bless you. Do what you gotta do. But also understand that you're donating something. It's not a guarantee that that's going to be used, what that person says. And it's not a guarantee that person who is asking for this have good intentions in mind. This guy did not have good intentions in mind. And the fact that he was willing to play this charade as long as possibly can to get money is a prime example of how we need to ask more questions, especially when it comes to the situation. Comments is a perfect example. Why should I donate this amount of money to, say, to fund your wedding? How is this beneficial to the site? How is this beneficial to the channel? Why should I donate money for your camera? How come you can't save up enough cash to have your own camera? Why should I donate to this movie? What benefit do I have? Is this game? If I donate this game, donate this money to this game, will it? Can I play it for free on a video game site, or do I still have to pay for it? Will I able to get a free copy if I donate? All these should be put into the forefront. Don't just, oh, he's a fan of mine. I'm a big fan of his. Oh, he's making a project. Here's some money. Do what you gotta do. No. Keep in mind, this is your money. This is your hard-earned cash. Ask the questions. You're gonna put this money into somebody else's hands. Ask the questions and ask yourself, is it really worth it? There's nothing wrong with asking questions, especially when it involves anything in the financial structure, big or small. Ask the questions. Let the person who's asking for donations explain the situation. Even if they explain in Kickstarter, ask them anyway, because if they are looking for money to be donated from them, they should at least take the time and the dedication to at least explain why they're doing this. Explain how is this money going to be broken up. Explain the expenses. And I can also go back on the situation months ago with the Cheetah Man Lost Levels, and how that almost became an instant disaster. And the reason why is Greg Pappage just basically asked for donations, but he never really asked how why this cost so much. Later on, as the months and as the thing really heated up, for, not only for him but for the for Cinemassacre, it was only then revealed of why he was asking, why he's doing it in this format, and broken down the cost. Now, half he had done that sooner and explained why he needs this money, even though many people said he didn't need to ask anybody else for this all on cash. I think the backlash would have been kept at a minimum, but because of how people was asking for $60 for a game that nobody even cares for or can't even play, why should I pay for a bad game that much money? He later on had an interview explained the whole thing. Some of the stuff I find genuine because I myself did an extensive research on it. Some of the guys was posting stuff about a court trial, but didn't post the whole article, which I think that's kind of wrong. If you're gonna post something, post the whole thing, so that way a person can have a more clearer analysis of what's really going on. A lot of people didn't do that. I ended up having to go straight directly towards the source itself and read the whole thing word for word. It turns out that it wasn't what people has been writing about, but something else. So that got debunked. He explained of why. What he was doing as a cartridge versus what a lot of people said you can get it off. I believe from a converter, so you can play it in your computer, and how some of those are actually illegal, which he's actually right about that. He wanted to have an actual game cartridge, which costs money, shipping, handling, and all that other stuff that combined. That's fine, and he explained it. He had, I believe, Rad from ThatGuyWithGlasses.com, aka Blister Thumb, has had the interview. It was a good interview, and I'm glad he actually done it. But the point is that he was sloppy on presenting this, and have he had presented it more better or more clearer, that mess would have probably never happened. But this is the thing: when you have a situation like that, people are going to ask questions. And do I think that people were wrong for forcing him to ask these questions? No, I didn't. Do I think there were a lot of haters of the video game nerds that chomped at the bit to attack him? Yes. But do I felt that some of the questions and the attack were unjustified? No. For the simple fact is, when you're dealing with this situation, especially with donations, you need to be direct and you need to know the project at hand, especially if a channel is promoting it. And there was a lot of stuff that's happened, a lot of confusion from mostly from Mike Matei than anything else, that really raised a lot of people's eyebrows about, and other video gamers was talking about. But after a while, once Pavish himself started to explain himself, started to speak about the situation, started to really go into details on why he was asking so much money, and why of any bits that left over was going to miscellaneous expenses, then it started to make better sense. Do I agree that he should have been asking for donations? No, but I also understand that, hey, a man like him didn't get to where he was by spending his money. There is old philosophy: you get rich by spending other people's money, and he knows there's only going to be a certain select few who wants this game. So he's going to target those select few, and those who really want this game is going to donate to him to get that game. Mind you, the higher the donation is, the more likely you have that game. They'll ship it to you, they'll give it to you, and you get to play it if you have the right game system. I believe you need to have a Nintendo or something that plays Nintendo games. But the point is that they could have been avoided have the information was properly handed out. And that was the thing why that incident happened. In this situation, again, in my opinion, people follow this guy, they love this guy, they love his work, and whether questioning him because they see the wheelchair, they see him on the wheelchair, he said he was paralyzed, he said he needed this and needed that, they didn't question it. They basically gave him the money. You always want to question the person who's asking for donation for any reason. You always want to question it, especially when it's in large sums. You always want to question that. And I'm hopefully now with this situation the way it is, because this is a hot topic. It's been a hot topic for some time now. I don't think this is going to go anytime soon. people are going to be more than ever cautious, especially when it comes to people who are asking for things that really they shouldn't be asking for. Especially another reviewer has been saying it really annoys me, and I'm still waiting for that website to actually still come up. But it's been now going on 2 years, and I seriously doubt that ever going to be put up. But that's another story for another day. I'll leave that at that. I don't want to make this into a two-subject video because I already spent 30 minutes on this subject as it is. And speaking of which, that's pretty much it, guys. Especially gamers, love to hear your opinion on the situation. Love to hear what you have to say. Even if you don't agree with me, or I pretty much jump on our words, and I do apologize for that. Let me know. Let me know your feelings on this, because to me, honestly, if you think this doesn't have an effect on how partnership is going to restrict rules, and how your donations is going to be affected, and how your ads going to be affected, you're dead wrong. This is something that a lot of companies are going to take a very close look at. They're going to be looking at everyone who's doing videos or accepting ad revenue for their videos, and you have to be mindful that when one idiot does something like this, it trickles down to everyone. Even if you are being honest as hell, telling the truth about what you're doing, you got to be mindful that this is something that's going to affect everyone, not just a small select few. So be mindful, be truthful, and be honest about what is going on, what you're doing with your project, and keep your fans, keep your community updated. The last thing you want to do is you take money, and the next thing you know, boof, it's gone. People respect you more if you're honest about it, and people even respect you more is how it's being broken down. You don't have to say make a public video on how it is, but if someone asks you in a comment section, have the respect to take the time and say, well, this is what's going to be going on, this is how it's going to break it down, and this is what the money's being used. Just taking money and then never talking about it again and not making any updates at all isn't going to it's going to get a good light on you down the long run. That's pretty much it, guys. This is not the usual entertainment roundup video, but it's something that I wanted to talk about, something I just simply didn't want to ignore, and something that I think is a very serious topic. It's going to be on both my channels, both the political one and this one, because I think both sides, it's pretty much both sides, because a lot of people are going to use this as an excuse of why Kickstarter, PayPal, AdSense, etc. Is nothing more than e-begging, and it should be stopped. I personally don't mind the donation button. Again, there were some good things about that came out of it when people donating to a certain game development, to a certain movie, which actually turns out to be even better than some of the movies they're throwing out in theaters now. So there are some good that can come out of it. But when you have a program like this, you're also going to have the bad. And as you all know, it's the people who makes this program bad that's going to get the most attention, not only by the people who are against it, but also by members of Congress and the feds. And that's something that I think everybody should take note when dealing with the situation. The feds are watching, the governments are watching, and that's something that we need to be mindful of. Don't think for 1 minute that you have a donation button and you're getting cash that you're not paying taxes on it at some extent. Don't think that they're keeping an eye on how much you actually are pouring out, because you'd be surprised. And make no mistake about it, the feds are looking into this guy. Whether or not they can able to charge him with anything, that's still up in the air. But if they do, you better believe I will be talking about it. Until then, this is J77 saying, again, if you agree with my comments, don't agree with it, let me know, put it in the comment section below. And until then, you guys take it easy, take care, be safe.